We are back with Benjamin Dakota Rogers. The new album is Paint Horse, and the song you just heard was my absolute favorite on the album called Arlo. Is this all you have for me? What a gut punch of a line.
Thank you. Thank you. That song came about like really fast. I was like sitting on the couch in my studio and I think I wrote it in an evening and shared it. And I think it's actually the only song that didn't have any TikTok success. But I was like, I love this. This makes me feel a very certain way. And I think that maybe people who aren't necessarily on TikTok might connect with this. And so I was like, I'm putting it on the record kind of no matter what.
I am not on TikTok, and that was the one that hit me. So you got that one right. As someone who lives in a rural area in Canada, is that the sort of question, is this all you have for me, that you feel like a lot of people around you might be asking?
I think, yeah, it's so where I live, I guess the whole song is kind of based around how I'm feeling. I was spending a lot more time at my family's farm during the pandemic just because it was a place out in the middle of nowhere and touring wasn't happening. So I was spending a lot of time there. I built a little studio up in the barn and a little apartment to live in with my girlfriend. And I was noticing I spend a lot of nights outside. My brother's a blacksmith, and his shop is out in the middle of a field on the property. So I'd spend a lot of time there, and I was noticing that you could see city lights from subdivisions, not the lights themselves, but the glow starting to come up over the trees on our property. And it was, yeah, there was all this light encroaching, and I was just noticing, like, I understand the need for like housing and all that stuff, but it just like seeing it come closer in a way that was different than seeing like a subdivision built a couple concessions over. Now all of a sudden it's like there's this light coming up on the farm, and seeing small farms around us close, and like, you know what I mean? Just like things change as cities creep closer. And yeah, I think that's a feeling people living in rural communities have in general as taxes go up, and it's harder and harder to make farms work. There's this kind of like frustration and not quite sure where to what to do thing. And
Yeah,
yeah, all that kind of came into that song in whichever
you're a
way.
throwback folk musician. Your brother is a blacksmith. Your family
Yeah.
are farmers. Uh, are you sure 2023 is right for you?
I I really like it. It's yeah, I like it. There's so many mediums to get my music out there, and yeah, it's great. I love it.
What do you appreciate about a heartbreaking song like Arlo?
I just want to. Ooh, got good questions. I want I want it to make make myself and other people feel something. I think that the most important thing for me with my songs and kind of how I gauge whether I'm going to play them live is if they can kind of consistently put a knot in my stomach when I'm live, when I'm playing them, because I think that lets me perform better and share what I'm doing better with the people who are listening. And so I like songs that, whether it's like I get kind of revved up, like John Came Home, I can kind of get like revved up, or Jeremiah. Uh, with Arlo, it just always kind of makes me sad and a little nostalgic and reflective. And I hope that if I'm feeling that way, the people listening are feeling that way, and it definitely informs my performance of the song. Um, if I can kind of consistently get a little choked up, or feel something live.
Yeah, it's Oh, that's the knot in your stomach test, the TikTok test. You got a lot of ways of coming up with what you play. So whenever I have a guest on the show, I like to close things out by having them pick a song. And for you, I wanted you to come up with a song from that era that you like to live in, because I feel like you are, in particular, going to come up with a good one. Make it as obscure as possible. Have fun with it.
Uh, I think easy, maybe not quite that era, but Moonlight by Blaze Foley
All right.
might be one of my favorite written songs ever. There's been a couple great covers of it. I found it through a cover, but I think that it's the perfect song for like sitting outside at night. And that's pretty much how I want to exist most of the time. Is I used to go to bed at like 5 in the morning, sleep till 3, and then spend the whole night up writing and recording and working. I'm I think by nature nocturnal, and just because of everyone else's schedules, I'm about during the day.
All right. Benjamin Dakota Rogers, thanks so much for a great album.
Thanks so much for having me.